Hello students, welcome to my live teaching learning session of MMPC 016. Today we will discuss about Block 1 Unit 3 International Business Environment. In this international business environment, first of all we must have to know about what is the meaning of international business environment and what are the main components of this business environment and how it is affected to international trade and international businesses. Now, in this unit 3, International Business Environment, the overview of this unit is that after reading this unit, you should be able to appraise the international business environment. And in this unit, we will also analyze the political, economic, social, technological, and legal environment of international business environment. These are the components of international business environment. And next, we will identify the key economic issues that influence international businesses. After that, understand if we want to understand the transition of certain countries to a market economy and the effects on the later on international firms and their managers and appreciate the dynamics of political, social, technological and legal environment and their influence on business. So in this unit, we will discuss all these things which are related with international business environment. Next is the topic of this unit 3 is first of all introduction. Next is appraising international business environment. After that, the main components of business environment like political environment. We will study in detail what is the meaning of this political environment and what factors affects international business environment according to this component. After that, economic environment, social and cultural environment, technological environment, ecological environment, legal environment, and after that we can conclude from the above discussion what we have done in today's session. So let us start from the first topic, introduction. Now in introduction, in this topic, a firm has no control on external environment even in domestic business. You know that there are two types of environment which mainly affects the business. One is internal environment, second is external environment. Some factors which are internally influence the business, that is called internal environment or internal factors of the business environment. And those factors on which firm has no control, that factor is called external factors or external environment. Even in domestic business, we can't control external forces or external environment, where it have to deal with issues like taxation policy of the government. We can't predict about the taxation policy of the government. Government can raise tax rates and government can reduce tax rates according to the requirement of the revenue. And changes in the economic structure, threats from competition, political factors, government rules and regulations, industrial licensing and approvals, ecological concerns, legal compliances to different acts and rules, and dealing with changing technological landscape. These all things are known as external environment, which a firm has no control over these factors and these things. This became extremely complex when a firm entered international businesses, as it has to deal with different business environment in the different countries. It enters with international business environment is regarded as the sum of all the external forces. And what are the external forces? The external forces like tax rate and policy, government rules and regulations, industrial licensing system, ecological concern, political factors, threats from competition, and legal compliances to different act and different rules dealing with changing technological landscape. All these are known as external environment or external forces. So, external and international business environment is the sum of all the external forces working upon the firm as it goes about its affair in foreign market. Next is international business environment. In India, you know that India has launched new economic policy in 1991. The new economic policy of 1991 is the basic and core step to step into globalization. This policy is also known as LPG policy. Here L means liberalization, P means privatization, and G stands for globalization. And LPG was the basic step in changing the Indian market from isolated Indian products to international products. The government had then made several reforms from LPG to the present Make in India, inviting investors through FDI. FDI is foreign direct investment. With the help of FDI, most of the multinational companies can bring their own capital, they bring own technologies and start their business enterprises in developing nations where most of the world population live, and motivating Indians to go international, because globalization is the integral relationship with rest of the world. And in 1991, India has adopted this policy to liberalize its economy and globalized economy, and to increase the relationship with the rest of the world, so that trade can be easily flow in between of different nations. India has also been country making reforms from wars in 1960s and 1970s to a peace lover. You know that Indian economy is a peace lover economy, and taking part in several regional trade blocs to improve economic conditions, also to make India an attractive investment destination in the global market. India needs a lot to understand and grow gradually. India is growing, and India is doing the reforms for the development of the country. So, international business environment in India, international business mainly emphasized in which policy? Policy of 1991, when government has adopted this LPG liberalization, privatization, and globalization. This was the basic step in changing the Indian market from an isolated Indian product to international product. Now, next is international business environment. International business environment is a operating environment of a business. It is more violent in nature because it can be very flexible or dynamic in nature. In this international business environment, we include so many components. These components are like political environment, economic environment, technological environment, cultural environment, and competitive environment. All these environment are the components or internal factors of this business environment. In political environment, it involves government interference, legal restrictions, political risk, and support and offer received from government. So in political environment, we include all the political issues, political policies, political rules and regulations, and the restriction which is imposed by government, and some political risk and support and offers received from government, and all those legal restrictions are included in political environment. In economic environment, it focuses on economic issues like economic growth, development, gross domestic product, per capita income, infrastructure, tax structure, and so on. In technological environment, in this we include technological advancement and technological development, and its acceptance highly impacts the gains of a business. Next is cultural environment. In cultural environment or socio-cultural environment, we include general beliefs and values depending on history, language, and religion of a country. Next is competitive environment. In competitive environment, you know that at present government has adopted Competition Act and abolished monopolistic restrictive trade practices act, which was made in 1969, which imposed some restrictions for investing money in business enterprises. But at present, in new economic policy of 1991, India abolished MRTP Act, and instead of that MRTP Act, government has introduced Competition Act 2002, in which competitive all the business enterprises are liberal and they are free to enter in competitive market. Competition level in a country depends on several factors like economic, political, and cultural environment. Next is benefits of international business environment. What are the advantages of this international business environment? We can develop our economy under a global village. So international business environment helps to development of a global village. It facilitates transfer of capital, human capital, ideas, and information, and it helps in the effective utilization of resources. All the available resources in our country we can efficiently use with the help of this international business environment. If we understand this concept, then we can make our resources fully utilized, and all the resources can be efficiently utilized for attaining our goals and motives. And it provides more employment opportunities at world stage. It stabilizes the prices of goods and services in world market, and it will also enhance the technological development and technological enhancement, technological advancement can also be developed with the help of this international business environment. So international business environment is operating environment of a business, and it is very flexible or dynamic in nature, and it provides so many benefits to international business. Next is, what are the components of international business environment? The components we will discuss in detail, like political environment, legal environment, economic environment, socio-cultural environment, technological environment, natural environment, and demographic environment. So these are the components of international business environment which affects international business. International business environment has so many advantages and it play very important role in economy or in a world economy. Why this international business environment is a very important concept? This is very important concept because if we understand this international business environment and all the components of business environment, then we can earn more foreign exchange by involving more foreign trade activities. And we can optimum utilize all the available resources in our country, and if we can achieve our goals and targets with the help of this international business environment. And it reduces the business risk and give more benefit from taking. If you are taking more risk, you can get more advantage with the help of understanding this concept of international business environment. It improves the efficiency of the organization and business enterprises. And it will also help in to get benefit from government, because if we understand the political environment, how it affects the business enterprises, then we can get more advantages from government. And we can expand our business and we can diversify our products in all over the world, and it increase competitive capacity of the business enterprises. So international business environment is very important for each and every economy, either it may be capitalist or socialist or mixed. So all economies we should use this international business environment, and international business environment give more advantages for all types of business activities. Now, next is the international business environment. In this, here is four components which is mentioned here. One is geographical factors, second is political and legal factors, third is cultural and social factors, and fourth is economic conditions. All these are included in international business environment. First is geography. In geographical area, we include like climate, terrain, seaways, natural resources, agricultural products, which is based on our nature, our climate, our seasons, or our natural resources. So all these things are included in geographical factors. In political and legal factors, we include that types of government, what type of government exists in each and every economy. Like in some economies, there are single government system. In some economies, there are federal government system where only one party system or single government system exists. What type of what type of forces they influence to use they influence the market or business activities. And in federal government system, where three types of government exist, like central government, state government, and local government. What type of government exists in the economy and how it affects the international business activities. And second is political stability. If there is a political stability, then international business will increase. And if there is a political instability and war period and bureaucracy and red tapeism and so many evils, political evils exist in the economy, and corruption also exists in the economy, then international business environment, international businesses will decrease, and it will not give benefits to the business entrepreneurs. So government policies also affects the business enterprises. Next is cultural and social factor. In cultural and social factor, we include like language, traditions, education, religion, values, customs, and social relationship among country people. What type of culture they are following, and what type of social systems and customs, religion, their languages. Some groups are called ethnic groups, and so religion, values, all these things are included in cultural and social factor. This also affects international business activities. And next is economic conditions. In economic conditions, like what type of economic system exists in the economy or in all over the world, like what type of economy is market economy. We can say that if there is only private ownership on means of production, that is capitalism. If all the factors of productions are owned by government or state, that is socialism. So what type of economic system exists in the economy, it also affects international business activities. Next is education level, types of industries and technology. So all these things are included in international business environment, which spread so many effects on business activities. Now next is first of all economic factor. Now we have discussed about what type of component included in international business environment. And here we have studied that economic environment, political environment, social and cultural environment, ecological environment, technological environment, so legal environment. So all these things which influence the international business activities. Now we will study in detail what type of factors are known as economic factor and how it influence the international business activities. So first is economic factor. Any firm intending to go global require economic data of prospective national economies to interpret, analyze, and make cross-border comparison using standard criteria to understand the external environment affecting their business. You know that at present, most of the countries enter in this globalization process, and they are doing business with rest of the world. And at present, all the economies are open economies, and their main motive is to earn maximum profit through involving international business activities. So, any firm which intend to go global require economic data of prospective national economics to interpret, analyze, and make cross-border comparison using standard criteria to understand the external environment which affects their business activities. Fortunately, such data is available online, and an exporter can easily analyze the nature of the environment of a country on a country by country basis. Each economy has national income accounting data indicating estimates of GNP, gross national product, including growth trends, gross domestic product, consumption level, investment level, government expenditure, and price levels. An exporter can also access the demographic data. Demography means population. Exporter can get demographic data describing the size of population, their distribution by age category, and the rates of population growth. So, demographic data also helps to expand the business activities, because if population is increasing, and if we study about the age category and distribution or composition of population, then we can make more products, and we can export those goods and services in abroad, and we can get more benefits. So, international business enterprises and international business environment economic factor mainly affects to the business activities. And here, a person or any firm can collect some data which is related with economy like GNP, GDP, consumption level, national investment level, government expenditures, and price level data can take online, and exporter can easily analyze the nature of the environment on country by country basis. And with the help of demographic data, which describe the size of population, growth of population, age category of population, and the population growth rate, with the help of these factors, economic factor, an entrepreneur can analyze all these things and to improve their business activities and to gain maximum advantages. Next is all business activities are taking place within the political environment, which requires understanding of sub-elements such as government institutions, political parties, and organization through which a country people and rulers exercise their power. So political environment mainly include government rules and regulations and all those government institutions, political parties and organization through which a country people and rulers exercise their power. The managers of an international business firm must carefully study the government structure in the target country and analyze silent issues arising from the political environment. Here we are discussing about political factor. In we have discussed economic factor in which we include GDP, GNP, per capita income, consumption, investment, government expenditure, price data, and demographic trends also. But in political environment, we include the data which is related with the government institutions, political power, and organizations. The managers of an international business firm must carefully study about the government structure in the target country or on that country on which you want to study about that international business environment. So, in target a country and analyze silent issues arising from the political environment. And these may primarily include the governing party's attitude towards sovereignty, people's attitude towards foreign firms, political risk, trade wars, and resultant economic relations, retaliations, the threat of equity dilution, and expropriation. So, all these issues are included in political environment on which international business firm must carefully study about all these issues which are related with political environment. And what type of issues are included here? In this political environment, we include the governing party's attitude towards sovereignty, people's attitude towards foreign firms, political risk, trade wars, and resultant economic retaliations, and the threat of equity dilution and expropriation. All these things are included in political environment which influence the international business activities. Next is legal environment. In legal environment, it is also and equally important as nations are governed by forces of law, which includes rules and regulations, principles that nation state consider binding upon themselves to administer. An internationally engaged firm should pay attention to both set of laws, first the public law or the law of nation and international commercial law which is evolving. It means if a firm which is engaged in international business activities, a firm must pay attention to both set of laws. Either it may be public law, which is set by the nation, its own nation, and international commercial law, which is evolving in this business activities. So law of nation such as common law, code law and Islamic law provides the base for evolution and framing of international commercial law. This is legal environment, which is also very important to understand while doing business activities internationally. Next is an international business firm should also acquire knowledge of diverse socio-cultural environment. This is socio-cultural environment, which also very important for international trade operations. It must have legal environment, internationally trained staff without culturally tinted glasses to independently study the international socio-cultural environment. International marketers explicitly means directly recognize the non-economic basis of marketing behavior and its growing role in today's globalized market. At present, a socio-cultural environment is very necessary to acquire the knowledge of diverse behavior of the country people and diverse traditions, diverse customs, diverse religion which exist in each and every economy. So, international business entrepreneur must have to understand about diverse socio-cultural environment for the uh, successful in international trade operations. For example, like Barbie doll come not only in white color anymore, but one can find Barbie doll having African, means black, Chinese and Indian facial features so that children from respective region can easily correlate themselves when they find someone similar. So if we want to do business activities internationally, then we must have to understand the traditions, customs, religion, languages of different countries and their attitude of the country people towards their product. Then we can get more advantages from doing international business activities. Next is ecological environment. Ecologically, there is increased awareness for saving the environment and firms are reducing their carbon footprints to win and retain such awakened global customers. Lastly, no business firm afford to ignore the technological environment of the country. Technological environment and ecological environment both influence international business activities equally. Ecological means that we should save our environment while doing business activities. We should not damage or degrade our environment. Starting subordinates.
वहाँ से आया नहीं मेरे को। जैसे मेरे सिग्नल आया ना मैं आपको।
Now we have discussed about all the factors of international business environment like economic factor, political factor, socio-cultural factor, ecological factor, and technological factor. Now we are discussing about appraising international business environment. You know that each and every country is following this LPG policy like liberalization, privatization, and globalization for the development of their business activities, because liberalization means to open up the economy with rest of the world, and globalization refers to the improvement in integral relationship with rest of the world. And at present privatization is also increasing because government is giving more focus and more emphasizing on private sector enterprises, because these sectors are profit oriented sector and they can make more profit with producing more and fully utilization of all the available resources. When they will produce more goods and services, they can earn maximum benefit. So LPG, liberalization, privatization, and globalization has influenced the global trade environment so dramatically that producers, exporters, and policy makers in developing country like India are struggling to respond to emerging changes and challenges, especially with reference to ever evolving trade regimes, which is manifested by both anti globalization and globalization debate. For example, WTO. WTO is World Trade Organization, which was formed in 1995 after abolition of GATT. GATT was General Agreement on Trade and Tariffs, which was established in 1947, and India was the founder member of GATT. GATT also started by IMF and World Bank by improving trade agreements and rules and regulations set by uh, World Organization for doing simple and easily trade with rest of the world. But WTO is the broader concept, and WTO agreements are aimed at reforming the trade regimes and ensuring increased foreign trade activities in the world market. On the other hand, protectionist measures by USA coupled with Brexit by United Kingdom is a testimony of the challenges an international marketers has to encounter to tap the international trade opportunities. Because WTO is saying that a free trade policy is good for the world market. But some countries argue that they have to use this protectionist measure. Protectionist policy or protective trade policy is necessary for those countries who are less developed and who has no monopoly power over all the resources. So, in case of free trade, most of the developed countries and most of the uh, super powerful countries mainly take advantages by adopting this free trade policy. But for developing countries or less developed countries, protectionist trade policy is good. So, under this WTO agreements, the main the main reason for developing this WTO to improve the world trade in different nations, and WTO agreements are mainly aimed to reform the trade regimes and ensuring increasing foreign trade activities. For any firm to succeed in international markets, it is important that it must appreciate and accesses its competitive advantages in the light of international business environment. Indian firms, both like small and large, should reorient their efforts on how effectively such facts of its competitive advantages can be synchronized with key features of target's market. It is difficult to analyze and generalize the factors of international business environment, but a reference can be made to the following elements for scanning international business opportunities. So each and every firm who entered in international business activities, and if they want to get success in international market, it is very important to for that firms that it must appraise and access its competitive advantages in the light of international business environment. Influence of political system on management decision making. How political system influence on management decision making process. Number one is any business firm which is engaged in international market or business activities is exposed to various types of political risk because of being a part of different political system. Political risk occurs when the political climate within a country is not favorable for the international companies to operate. It means political risk generally occurs at that time when the policy of the government or policy of the country, political environment of the country is not favorable for international companies who are operating in business international business activities. Next is first is cause and type of political risk. What type of political risk exists in countries? There are various types of political risk which can create obstacles in the operation of a company. For example, government takeover of property, frequent strikes, lockouts, which hampers companies' performance and operating performance. Such problems can arise due to radical changes in political philosophy of a country's leadership, leading to civil disorder and breakdown of relationship between the home country and the host country government. For example, Russia-Ukraine relations in 2022. Next is macro and micro political risk. You know that micro means small, macro means large or whole. So when political actions are aimed at particular foreign investment company, they are regarded as micro political risk. For example, India restricted foreign investment without government approval from countries with which it shares borders, primarily to restrict hostile investment from China post Ladakh military standoff in 2020. On the contrary, if they are aimed at larger section of foreign investors, they are considered as macro political risk. So micro political risks are related with small and little, and micro means small. So if there are only particular foreign investment company included in this political factor, they are regarded as micro political risk. For example, if India restricted foreign investment without government approval from countries with which it shares borders, primarily to restrict hostile investment from China post Ladakh military standoff in 2020, this is called micro political risk. On the other hand, if they are aimed at larger section, broader section, or big section of foreign investors, they are considered at macro political risk. Next is extent of government intervention in the economy. Government intervention in the economy also affects international business activities. If government interfere most of the business activities, then some companies are not freely enter in business activities. So government intervention in the economy varies from individualistic intervention, for example, minimum interference, to communitarian intervention or maximum interference in economy. Usually, companies prefer centralized bureaucracy with a stable political party. If a US firm moves from its home country to host country like Germany, South Korea, and Turkey, communitarian, it will have to develop new strategies for its stakeholders, namely government, customers, suppliers, and competitors. So, what type of government intervention exists in the economy? It may be minor or it may be maximum. If there is a minimum interference, that will be good for the business entrepreneurs. And if there is a maximum interference exist in the government intervention in the market, then some countries can leave from their business activities, and they have to make the policy according to the minimum interference and maximum interference of the government rules in the economy. Now, next is economic environment. You know that there are at present 193 countries in the world and varies significantly in the level of economic development. A prominent question that a multinational corporations (MNCs) faces is that in which of these countries it should expand. Two important considerations that would guide on at MNCs are: first is the ease of access to factors of production. Why MNCs start their business in developing countries? If they feel that they can easily access all the factors of production which is necessary for doing business activities, then they can start their business activities in developing countries. And second is the demand condition. What type of demand condition exists in the host country? Like in India, here is the size of market, growth of population, and the size of population is too much large. That's why they think about it that what type of demand condition exists in the host country. If demand is more, they will start their business activities in less developed country. If demand is less, then why they will engaged in business activities? When nobody is demanding their product, then why they will produce and how they can get advantages? So these two are the main questions while starting their business activities in developing countries. And MNCs are the huge and giant size corporations which started their business activities in developing or less developed countries for getting more benefits. They bring their own capital and they bring their own technology. and provide more employment opportunities and produce more goods and services for large population in less developed countries or developing nations. Next is classification based on types of economies. Economies are generally four types. One is market economy. You know that their market economy is also known as capitalist economy, where economic resources are owned and controlled by private sector or private entrepreneurs. They are owned by private enterprises, not by the government or public sector. For example, USA, UK are market economy or capitalist economies. Second is command economy. Command economy is also known as socialist economy. Here, the economic resources are fully owned and controlled by the government or by the state or by the public sector. The central government of a country, on the basis of central plan, determines the production and processing of goods and rendering of services. For example, China, USSR, or Russia, before disintegration into Russia and other countries, are known as command economy or socialist countries. Next is traditional economy. Traditional economy is that economy in which economic decisions are based on the age old customs and beliefs followed by generations. For example, many parts of the African countries, especially the tribal regions, are following this traditional system of the economy. Next is mixed economy. Mixed economy is the mixture of capitalism and socialism. Mixed economy is the combination of all types of economy like market economy, command economy, and traditional economies. Such countries have characteristics of both public and private sectors ownership and control, for example, France and India. Next is main economic challenges for the economies. What type of challenges are facing by economies? In a macroeconomy, there are various undesirable situations which used to exist due to lack of fulfillment of one or more macroeconomic goals. These key macroeconomic challenges faced by large number of economies in the world are: number one is unemployment. You know that unemployment is a macroeconomic issues, and unemployment refers to a problem where people are willing to do work at a prevailing wage rate but not getting any job opportunities. They are called unemployed. And why unemployment exists at macro level and all over the world? Because the output produced is less than the input, because of which the economy is not able to solve the problem of scarcity. And second is the income received by the owner of unemployed resources is less, because of which they have lower living standard. Due to lower living standard, due to problem of scarcity, we can't produce more goods. When production is low, then employment will also remains low. This is the big problem at macro level. Next is inflation. Inflation means rising and increasing the price level continuously or persistently. Conceptually, inflation is defined as too much money purchasing to few goods and price. It is a situation when demand is more and supplies are less, and resultantly, an economy is unable to attain the goal of economic and political stability. Next is business cycles. Business cycles are known as wave-like fluctuations. Unemployment and inflation leads to instability in the business cycle. Both these macroeconomic issues are affects the business cycles in one way and the other. The contraction and expansion phases of business cycle are affected, leading to unstable conditions. Boom, recession, depression, and recovery are the stages of business cycles. Stagnant growth. In a common parlance, stagnant growth means that the growth has slowed down at a particular point of the business cycle. This issue arises when the supply of aggregate production does not increase of a desired pace. In certain cases, it declines or it tends to decline as well. Next is social and cultural environment. You know that social and cultural environment also affects business activities, in which there are certain ways by which a manager can understand the dynamics of different cultures. One is nation as a point of reference. Cultural differences always exist, usually between nations, due to different cultures, customs, beliefs, values, and faith. Next is dynamics and cultural formation. Here, cultures are imbibed by children from their parents in early age. Culture and values are also inherited from one generation to another. Next is languages. Languages also differ in all those countries in the world. Religion is also different in different countries, and the cultural oriented social practices also a manager should be aware of the cultural oriented social practices as they influence business in international market. Technological environment also affects business enterprises, because if there is a more technological advancement exist in the economy, then entrepreneurs can use more production of goods and services. They will enter into the business activities. Ecological environment also affects the business activities. The production of industrial goods like air conditioner and refrigerator has led to excretion of harmful gases such as chlorofluorocarbons, causing ozone layer depletion. This led to weather and climatic changes. The waste discharged by these firms or industries have caused air pollution, water pollution, soil pollution. So we should effectively manage all the waste, and effluent treatment is now being practiced by various business houses. So, a business firm should make those strategies which can reduce environmental degradation and to promote environmental safety. These are the main points, like preserve and protect or promote pollution-free and green environment, to support renewable energy resources in industrial uses, to protect and preserve the fauna and flora, especially endangered species, and to encourage manufacturing of energy efficient products. Legal environment is also very important for international business activities. There are two types of legal system: common law, civil law, and theocratic law. And legal issues are like international business laws, which affects working environment, vary from country to country, and of laws also govern cross-border activities such as import duties, foreign investment regulations, etc. Now we can conclude from the today's session the analysis of political, economic, social, technological, ecological, all these environment affects business activities internationally as well as global organization. These factors are important and must be evaluated, especially when evolving business environment is always uncertain, complex, and ambiguous. Thank you.